Good morning, everyone. This is a big unit, and uh, looks like we're going to have great weather, for at least a week to come. But today, I think is going to be one of our sunnier and warmer days of the week, and a lot of people going to be at work. But I hope that everyone maybe has a chance to go outside and cook some food or something, and get together with some family, maybe a beer or two this evening. But remember, moderation in all things, but let's enjoy this great weather while we've got it, and God bless everyone. I want to talk for just a second about this King 5 report about a group that got pretty big, about 300 people in downtown Seattle, I believe, on Union Avenue mostly. And one thing I noted most of all, there was some bad actors in the group, but not all. But they graffitied, they were carrying bats, and some other things, shooting the bottle rockets and so forth. Um, but they did have some more serious incendiary devices, and there were, I believe, 11 officers treated for minor injuries. There was one with a little more severe injuries, hit by some type of metal or shrapnel up by his neck. Um, excuse me. Um, but one thing I'm, concerned about with this is we have the protests in Portland after about 3 weeks, because I was already like, okay, go on 3 or 4 days, then maybe cool it. If you want something done, it takes time for it to happen. If some time goes by and they don't do anything, you could maybe organize again. But apparently they have just kept going the entire time. I mean, it's pushing 2 months now. Um, it's in 51, 52, 53 days at this point. And I know Trump and the DHS threatened to have National Guard come in um, to Seattle to close down Jazz. Um, and they never did. I know they don't want to go into these local or state jurisdictions unless they absolutely had to. And I feel like they've showed great restraint not going into Portland if it's gone on all this time. Um, and the mayor, the governor also, but especially the mayor and city council folks there in Portland, their tweets have gone, in my mind, beyond the normal mudslinging to just downright warlike words, and I'm concerned that, it's hard to see an outright civil war, but I could see some of these cities and their jurisdictions and the regions represented by certain representatives of the House, pretty much attempting to secede in a way. Um, but that's a topic for another video. I listened to a guy, an author that wrote a book about how civil war might actually, take place, but explaining a scenario of these civil conflicts and the cities separating. That's for another discussion. But the issue with the mayor in Portland was Trump and DHS coming in, but also they have an issue there with there's 3 or 4 different law enforcement entities. And again, they are apparently, anyway, or this is being claimed, they're just not um, having real identification and things, and people get detained. I don't blame them on this. I need to know that you are who you say you are. I need to be able to know that you're police, that you're not just somebody throwing me in a van. I have to agree with that entirely. And if that's going on, they need to correct that. But as far as their presence there, the thing is, they've showed restraint all this time. And just like the mayor in Seattle with Chaz didn't do anything until, coincidentally, of course, she says, the morning after protesters went and visited her house. The next morning, It was okay, enough's enough, time for people to go home. Coincidentally, of course. But in Portland, they've done nothing, but all they did is talk about going in. When feds finally went in, was because now the groups down there are graffitiing and attacking federal buildings, the federal prosecutor's office, and trespassing on other federal property, graffitiing, attacking cars of employees, attacking employees and threatening them. Um, and so not only is it legal now for the federal to go in there, I feel that they're obligated at this point because they need to protect the buildings and more than that, their employees. You know, and now apparently this group in Seattle, they didn't do as much as the group in Portland, and this is just kind of a reignition of some groups going out and protesting. It's really been shut down largely, and Chaz has been torn down. Um, but they were graffitiing, they carried bats, other incendiary devices. 11 police were injured. One had pretty serious injuries from metal and shrapnel up by his neck. But the main thing is they did graffiti. I guess this officer said her wording was an old federal courthouse or prosecutor's office. So it sounds like one that is not in use anymore. But if they start doing this and following Portland's lead and attacking federal buildings or harassing federal employees, we're going to see federal officers in Seattle too. And I don't want to see that. It's too close to home. But you know, if they were attacking the federal buildings, I'd have to agree with it. But I'm sure the mayor and others, and Inslee, the governor, they're going to respond just like Portland. Um, and I can't agree with that. And it's just so incendiary. I don't want to see it. It's too close to home for me. My mother was just getting ready to go to Fred Meyer the other day, and just the day before she did, someone approached a man and said, "Hey, why don't you put on a mask like the rest of us do?" He was shopping with his mother. His mother had a mask, but he did not, and he responded that he didn't believe in the coronavirus, which, I believe in it, but there's a whole lot of politicking behind it, so I understand his stance. But the thing is, the gentleman then stood and argued with him for a time, and this guy had a concealed carry permit, but he ended up pulling a small 22 and pointing it at him for a moment. Um, and that's just all coming a little too close to home for me. I hope that it does not reignite protests in Seattle. I hope that they stay away from the federal buildings. Um, and I just, when are these protests, when are people going to move on? I love this weather, but you almost think that maybe the sooner fall gets here and some rains come and everything, people won't be so eager to go out and be in the rain through half the night to protest. Um, but I just hope things don't get any closer to home, and I hope everyone is being safe and, keeping an eye on what's going on, but you got to take a little break from it too. Don't let it get you down. God bless everyone. Have a great day. That's a big unit. All right, take care.